Everybody, sorry for starting a bit late. I will promise to speak really fast and catch up. At this point, we're calling this meeting to order. We're going to welcome all of our guests, and we're going to call on Mrs. Castleberry to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's what you get for sitting in the front row.
Yeah, the front row gets you every time.
Right hand over our hearts. Ready to begin?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now I offered to sing last time. Do you want to?
I have no problem with it. If we weren't starting late, next time you're here, I'm going to remind you. So there we go. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, good. We have no report of closed session items, and we'll go right into report from the Torrance Education Foundation.
She's here.
Good evening, everybody. Well, I think everybody knows that it is our 25th anniversary, because I've said so every time I've spoken to you this year. But our big annual event is coming up on Saturday the 4th, and I just wanted to give you all a little preview of some of the really exciting, generous live auction items that will be on for bidding at the party to raise funds for our schools and our students. First of all, we have a brews tour, patriotic about Torrance breweries. There's an in-home wine tasting that you can have friends over and taste wine in your very own home. There's a great trip to Mexico for a week with golf every day. There's a week in Palm Springs. There's a trip to see Judge Judy on the set. And there is a fantastic trip to Washington, D.C., hosted by Mrs. Liu and her husband, Congressman Liu, to attend the annual First Ladies Luncheon and see a personally guided tour of various places in Washington, D.C., the White House, the FBI, the Library of Congress, dinner out at the Kennedy Center and a show. And that is actually live and available for bidding on our website right now, because we certainly want everybody to know that they can bid on this and help support the Ed Foundation with this fantastic, generous donation. It includes airfare vouchers on JetBlue and beautiful accommodations for 3 nights in a private condominium owned by one of our Torrance businessmen, Aaron Bumitra,
That answered my question.
which is on Pennsylvania Avenue. So that's my PSA and commercial for the gala and our fabulous highlight of live auction. So we hope some of you, all of you, whomever's here, might choose to join us at the event on May 4th. Tickets are on sale on our website and our gala website, 501auctions.com/TEF Gala. And I should not finish this blurb before I thank everybody who has made a donation to our auction and to our event, and hope everybody comes and has a good time with us in their silver. I know Mr. Lee is planning to buy a silver tie to celebrate our silver anniversary. Thank you.
No, I was going to go in glitter, actually.
Oh, and Mr. Gerson already has his.
Glitter on my
Excellent.
face
Okay.
for the
Just so you
silver
know,
thing.
it's going to be a very flashy night.
I think my husband has a silver bow tie.
And Congressman Liu will be wearing a silver bow tie. Okay.
A tie,
All right.
tie?
A bow tie.
Yeah, but is he
be
gonna
there
tie
and be
himself?
square.
Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Okay. That evening, we will also be drawing the winner of our car raffle, Toyota, Lexus this year, beautiful silver. There's a theme here. Silver Lexus. We are still selling car raffle tickets. I have some if anybody needs one and doesn't have one. And as you know, $30 for a ticket, and someone's going to win a fantastic Lexus. SBEA, South Bay Enrichment Academy, we are still accepting summer school registrations, elementary, secondary, all the way through high school, afternoons for elementary and middle school students, GATE program, that's all available also on our website at tef4kids.org. And last but not least, I'd like to announce that the Torrance Education Foundation sponsored scholarships have been decided, and we will be announcing the winners of 19 scholarships shortly. I want to thank all of our scholarship sponsors who support us every year, in particular Continental Development, Surf Management, California Water Service are our 3 corporate partners, and then we have several individually sponsored memorial scholarships that we are also bestowing this year. So you'll receive an announcement about that shortly. Any questions about our party? No?
We'll be there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Report from the Torrance Council of PTAs.
Hello and good evening. So May 4th, does that mean like May the 4th be with you? Is that
Yes,
kind
it
of thing?
does.
So lightsabers maybe? I'm just thinking. Well, I'll be brief. I have a couple of bits of good news. For our Project Hope, which is our program that serves the homeless and foster youth here across TUSD, we put together 55 care packages, packages of food, dry and canned food goods that went to those families during spring break, which is pretty exciting. We know that food instability is a real issue in this country, but a slightly growing issue in Torrance. So we were really excited to be able to do that and ensure that children who might otherwise go to school and have free reduced lunch and breakfast at least had meals at home during that 1 week. So that was really special. Project Hope is also preparing to bedazzle some amazing young ladies and gentlemen and buying prom dresses and tuxedos and getting the ladies' hair and makeup put together. So we know prom's really special and insanely expensive, so we're thrilled to kind of be able to help out in that respect. So that's really exciting. Thanks to Denise Spellman for chairing that huge program and all of the people who have helped donate and made it possible. We also have Project Boss, which is coming online fairly soon. Over the summer, we pack hundreds of backpacks full of school supplies, and we pump a lot of money into it and got a lot of donors. And this year, we have Starbucks, 9 locations across Torrance. They approached us to do a supply drive. So we have those locations, I think, posted online at our website, torrancecouncilofptas.org. So that's really exciting. We haven't done a partnership that big, I think, ever. So we're so grateful, and we know we're going to get a great turnout because we have amazing neighbors and friends here in Torrance. And then last but not least, just a quick plug and reminder that membership is a year-round activity for us in PTAs. We're a bunch of cute little nonprofits that do a lot of great stuff on each of the campuses. And so for anyone who hasn't yet bought a membership, you can always do so. It's insanely cheap, usually less than $10. And actually, summertime is a really great time to buy one because you get a lot of discounts, and just the savings alone at Office Depot here in Torrance is pretty big. But you also basically say with your one membership that you really support what we do on your campuses, and that's pretty, I think, amazing by itself. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Good, thank you very much. Lots of good stuff happening at the PTA. Introduction of student representative, Mr. Egan.
Thank you, Mr. Lead, members of the board. Good evening. I'd like to introduce our new student representative from North High School, Ms. Jillian Hirano. As you could hear, she has a one-man fan club tonight. Here to support Jillian is Mr. Scheck, North High's principal. Jillian Hirano is the North High ASB president. She manages and distributes tasks in preparation for school events. She's maintained a 4.0 GPA throughout her years in high school and has earned a cumulative GPA of 4.56. She holds another leadership position at North on the Japanese Club Board, where she helps make decisions during their Multicultural Week. Throughout her time at North, she's participated in basketball, cross country, and track, was named team captain for 2 out of her 3 years in cross country, and helped contribute to their success in making it to the first ever girls team to become CIF finalists. Outside of school, she's very involved in the Japanese American community through basketball, the Go for Broke Foundation, and through her volunteering at Tanaka Farms. She also works closely with the brand Hollister as a brand ambassador. Interesting. She'll be attending UC San Diego in the fall and will be studying chemistry to work towards her goal of creating her own business as a cosmetic chemist. So welcome to Jillian, and I will pass the mic to you.
Thank you. Good evening, President Lee, TUSD Board, Cabinet, and guests. My name is Jillian Hirano, and I'm the student representative from North High. So these past months, North High has been super busy. In September, we had our senior sunrise to kick off the school year for our graduating seniors. We hosted our exciting homecoming game against Torrance and held our festivities, including Queen and King reveal and the dance. In October, we had our annual club rush. We put on our Tokuharu assembly where we hosted Tokuharu High School for their annual visit. In November, we had our fall UCLA blood drive, which is one of the largest and most successful in the South Bay. We had our Kashu Exchange program where we celebrated 25 years of our Sister City Exchange. And in the midst of everything, we cheered on our football team as they made it to CIF semifinals this year, and our boys and girls cross-country team for making history as CIF finalists. In December, we held a canned food drive that benefited the food pantry Amigos Sin Barreras. We put on our winter assembly where we recognized our winter sports programs. In January, our dance program hosted their amazing winter dance show. In February, we had our Valentine's Day Duos competition for students and teachers to participate in. We hosted our second ever student council mixer with West High and CAMS. Our North High theater program put on their production of The Little Mermaid. We had our spring UCLA blood drive where we collected over 400 pints of blood, including the numbers from the fall blood drive. We hosted our famous Multicultural Week that featured various cultural activities and culminated in our culture club performances and community show that Friday night. Just recently, we held our student council elections to prepare for next year, and we just held our annual celebration of the arts chalk walk and program that everyone is invited to come and see. We are currently preparing for the JOTC Golden Bear competition for the Western States and Relay for Life at South High this weekend, where our ASB team had already smashed our goal of $5,000. And finally, our dance program is currently preparing for their spring show that will be coming up next week. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Julian. A lot going on at North High. Given your GPA was 4.56, which was approximately a little more than half of mine when I was in high school, I will follow up that with.
You mean double? You mean double?
No, that's right, double. No, hell no. The only thing saves me, the only thing saves me politically is that all the records from Torrance High are probably gone from when I was there, so that's good. But anyway, trying to get around to what I was going to say was that you have a button in front of you. You can poke at Mr. Egan next to you. If we say something dumb or you want to get involved, you're more than welcome to do so. Since you're clearly smarter than I am, I may switch seats. So, and we'll go from there. So we'll welcome you for the next few meetings. On that note, good news student presentation, Dr. Kim.
Thank you, President Lee. It's my pleasure to introduce one of our student leaders from Lincoln Elementary School, Jeanette Berga. Can you please come on up? Let's give her a round of applause, everyone. Also joining us tonight is the principal, Catherine Castleberry of Lincoln Elementary School, who led us in the pledge but is not singing. Jeanette, please tell us what's happening at Lincoln.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, board members. My name is Jeanette Berga, and I'm a 5th grade student at Lincoln Elementary. I'm honored to be here today to share with you some good news that's happening over at Lincoln. We have many exciting programs that give students the opportunity to do what they love. Recently, the 5th grade class studied and learned about the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. To honor the great man himself, the 5th grade students get to craft and present their very own I Have a Dream speeches. This is a special day for us to share our passions and hopes for the future. Standing at the podium, we cheer and encourage each other on. This helps us relieve any fears we may be having at that moment. I do believe that Dr. King's teachings of nonviolence and tolerance towards others is very crucial to be educated on because it gives our generation the opportunity to make a difference in the world we live in today. We are very fortunate to have this special day at Lincoln to commemorate the man who changed America. Crafting our own dream speeches gives us the opportunity to use our voice, despite the fact that it may be hidden way deep down inside. It takes a lot of courage to get up in front of a crowd, but I feel that because of the fact that we are with our friends, makes it much easier. Prior to writing our speeches, we are also educated on the history of the civil rights movement and the man himself. Along with watching his entire speech, we also read about his famous marches and protests. His great steps inspire us to use our voices without letting anybody bring us down. This future generation holds our new presidents, new doctors, new scientists, new teachers, and everything that our world needs to thrive. We are the leaders of tomorrow. Roar, Lions!
Yay! I'd like to call on Mr. Egan for the next presentation.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to welcome Isaac Kim and Emily Roberts, 8th graders from Magruder Middle School. Please come on up. Joining Isaac and Emily here tonight, representing Magruder, also I'd like to welcome Principal Lisa Nunes.
Hello, I'm Isaac Kim.
And I'm Emily Roberts, and we're representing Magruder. At Magruder, our number one objective is to exemplify the 4 Bs. What are the 4 Bs, you ask? A simple code that anyone can live by. Be respectful, be thoughtful, be a scholar.
These 4 Bs aren't just for students, they're for teachers as well.
Safety is a huge priority at Magruder Middle School, and by being responsible and thoughtful students, we provide a safe environment for each and every day with the help of our wonderful administrators.
Magruder teachers lead by example. Students take responsibility for themselves and their trash by picking up after themselves. This also is being respectful to our janitorial staff, shout out to Mr. Lawrence, as well as the environment.
Not only do students take responsibility for themselves, but also for the rest of the school and even for the planet. We accomplish this by having something called our sorting station. This program sorts out compost, liquids, bottles, cans, cardboard, and trash. And guess what? It's student-run. The students supervise the trash bins to ensure that everything goes where it's supposed to. This reduces our trash output from 6 large bags of trash to just 2 per day. We also use the compost to aid plant growth in our Garden Guru Club. We aspire to inspire other schools like Kashmir to start as well.
Here at Magruder, we like to have fun by having our very own sports tournaments. During these games, students respect each other by saying encouraging things like good game or nice hit. Students are responsible for making their teams, practicing, and showing up to their games. Magruder has many ways to have fun and teach students to be responsible and respectful.
We are also very proud of Magruder's diverse makeup. We are a racially and economically diverse group. In fact, Magruder was recently recognized as one of just 31 LA County's public schools in the top Los Angeles public schools for underserved children, for students for strong English proficiency demonstrated by low-income African-American students in the 2017 through 2018 year. Magruder is the only TUSD school to be recognized in this study. Our students act respectfully towards students of other races and economic background.
Some of the programs at school use all 4 Bs, like Student Council. Student Council runs all of our events and fun activities. The students part of Student Council have big responsibilities running all these events. But other than that, they have to be respectful and thoughtful to students around them. The students have to have good grades in order to be part of this program. A lot of schools don't have Student Council, but here at Magruder, we like standing out to other schools, showing that Student Council can and is a big part of the school.
Magruder has a lot of fun, educational activities that help build character. These character skills are very useful later in life and can be applied to everything. So we aren't only teaching kids math and science, but we're also showing them how to be kind, contributing members of society. And remember, anyone can be a responsible, respectful, thoughtful scholar. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to go on to oral presentations from the audience, but those of you in the front row that want to go can go, or you can hang around and listen to orals from the rest of our meeting, because all the high school kids in the back have to stay to the end. So, and I want you to know that we'll be out of here tonight, you high school kids, by at least 10 o'clock, so we'll be good. Okay. So the Board of Education welcomes input from the public in order to discuss district business in an orderly manner for the privacy and safety of the speakers and to help staff respond more directly. The board policies require that public presentations to the board comply with certain procedures, including speakers to non-agenda items may address only the items that are within the subject matter of the jurisdiction of the board. Time allotted for such presentations is limited to 3 minutes. Total time allocated for public input on non-agenda items is limited to 30 minutes. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to anyone. When addressing the board, speakers are required to state their name, address, and address the president from the podium, to adhere to applicable time limits. Complaints against employees or students will normally be heard in closed session, and the district's complaint procedures should be followed before discussion with the board. The board may remove disruptive individuals in order the room cleared if necessary. Any person who willfully disturbs the public school meeting is guilty of a misdemeanor. And we have one card from Mr. Henry.
School board members and president, my name is James Henry, a 49-year graduate of North Torrance High School and a 43-year North Torrance homeowner. From the April 12th, 2019 edition of the Daily Breeze, Torrance mistake leads to tax break for Torrance Unified School District. City says it has been charging school district about half of what it should be for the street lighting assessment. Did you know that soon after the school bond measure R passed, the Torrance Unified School District approved to vote all of its parcels, totaling $57,823.41 in favor of the City of Torrance street lighting assessment. In doing so, voluntarily increasing your tax liability for the same amount every year, starting in the fiscal year end of June 30th, 2000. Did you know the majority of the City of Torrance homeowners voted against this Torrance street lighting tax? Did you know that all three government agencies, the City of Torrance, the Torrance Unified School District, and the County of Los Angeles voted in favor of passing this tax? By doing so, it decided the outcome by passing this tax onto the homeowners of the City of Torrance. Now it has been discovered that the City of Torrance has been underbilling the Torrance Unified School District by over 50% of what they owe for at least the last 7 years. Meanwhile, as homeowners have been footing the bill 100% of what we voted against, at least $20 every year. If it wasn't for some concerned citizen who found the mistake, you would still be paying less than 50% of what you should be paying every year. I wonder who that concerned citizen might be. As you can see, you taught me very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we are now on to discussion action items, of which there are none. And we have items 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 under consent. Does anybody want any specific items pulled?
12.4,
12.4,
12.5,
12.5,
12.6,
12.6,
14.6,
14.6,
14.8,
14.8,
15.3,
15.3,
and 18.14.
18.14. Good.
Sorry.
No problem. Anybody else? Okay, we'll take a motion to approve everything but those items.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 12.4, Mr. Gerson.
So this is proclamation that may be Asian American and Pacific Islander Month. I think this is even more special in the city of Torrance. We have one of the largest Asian populations, in fact, one of the largest Japanese populations outside of Japan, and a wonderful sister city association. I want to thank our Chief Information Officer for helping this year to get out information about Bankasai, which is the city of Torrance's Japanese cultural festival, where we get to celebrate the Japanese heritage. And this is the first time that I've ever seen it go out to all of our families. After living in, I've been in Torrance 29 years before the first time I attended it, and it was amazing. Both of my children have a great time. I've had a great time, and I just want to, again, thank Tammy Kahn for helping us get that out to everyone, and recognize it. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything about it.
Good. Do I get a motion and a second to approve that item?
I move we approve it.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Gerson, item number 12.5.
12.5 is Mental Health Awareness Month, which is also May. I, for the first time, saw a commercial that was about anti-vaping, and I would like to bring everyone's attention to flavorshookkids.org. flavorshookkids.org. It's powered by the Tobacco Free California Initiative. Some of the facts that they give. E-cigarette usage by high school students increased 78% between 2017 and 2018. 1 in 4 high school students have used a tobacco product. 4 out of 5 kids who have used tobacco started with a flavored product. And it starts even as young as 12. And so the slogan that they're starting with is nicotine equals brain poison. We had a couple of West High students come and present to us a couple meetings ago about vaping and the seriousness of it in our district, but it's statewide, it's nationwide. And I really loved the commercial I saw because it really emphasized what's going on in the brain. Nicotine affects all of the automatic nervous system. The major neurotransmitters in the brain get blocked, dopamine, serotonin. It increases anxiety, makes difficulty sleeping, which also adds to the effect of anxiety. And with so much of that going on right now, I know that some of our high schools are doing some education, but we need to get the word out more. So I encourage everyone to look at flavorshookkids.org and become knowledgeable about this. Thank you.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 12.6. Mr. Gerson.
I have to say something about Day of the Teacher, May 8th. Even though I resigned my Torrance teaching position on December 7th to take this position, I am still a fully credentialed teacher at the state of California. I'm still a teacher at heart. And I want to acknowledge all of our teachers, especially those in Torrance Unified, and thank you for everything that you do. And we will be celebrating you on May 8th. Thank you.
Yeah, Dodger Stadium has a teacher event on May 7th with $1 hot dogs. I brought that up at home. I'm not going, but I brought it up at home. Anyway.
Didn't work, huh?
Didn't work. But anyway, motion and second to approve.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on to 14.6.
I'm so difficult, aren't I? All right, so on this one, I had brought it up, but we didn't have time to make the change. I think it's very important that we acknowledge the names of our employees correctly. So you will see twice in the board agenda the name of a North High School teacher as Katie, Dupee, and I would like the secretary to correct it to her actual name, which is, I'm on the wrong note. Catherine Doupe.
Good, that's a good catch.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor, or motion second, all those in favor? Somebody,
Motion.
yeah, somebody, she'll figure it out. I'm just
Yeah.
Aye.
moving this along, good, yeah.
That's
What that was.
That's what I'm on.
on.
Catherine Dupee is spelled Duppy.
Yeah, we could have just fixed it.
14.8, Mr. Gerson.
With all of the recent news media about parents paying to get their students into college and saying that their athletes are not, and administering AP exams at home, I wanted to acknowledge North High School teacher, am I saying this correctly, I hope, Cherie Worley. She's going to be an AP exam reader, and I thank her for adding credibility and adding one of our teachers to the process. That's all.
Motion second,
Motion.
Second.
good, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. Item 15.3.
Pull this up.
Mr. Gerson.
Yes, I'm pulling it up. I actually, on this item, wanted to hear board members' opinions on number 3. So there are 5 items talking about different summer programs that we offer, but number 3 is a fee-based high school summer athletics program, and it goes on to explain the fee. And my children are still in elementary school, and I think most of you have or have had high school students, so you would be more knowledgeable about this. But I've had some parents complain to me and feel uncomfortable that they felt like our summer athletics program was marketed to them as a means of having a better chance of getting onto our sports teams. And, stories including, that they participated with one coach, but then they were going to be on a different level team, frosh soft. So that coach wasn't a part of the summer program, and creating a lot of hard feelings. So I just wanted to hear my other board members' feelings on this program, and I can only talk to you during open session.
Yeah, as having kids go through sports and writing that check for pre-football or whatever it may have been, that may be an item we want to bring back for board discussion, maybe a little deeper. Certainly the nexus between the two seems strong, even though it probably shouldn't be. And maybe it's something that the board as a whole could discuss, maybe as an agenda item. And we can talk about it. It's probably a little easier to talk about it that way from a policy standpoint as opposed to a specific item. Is that okay with the board?
That's fine with me. I don't think it relates to.
Yeah,
the
we can
summer
talk,
program.
yeah, we can relate to it as a summer program and
Because
stuff.
I would love to have students come back and talk about their experiences.
Yeah, just to kind of, I've heard that in the community from time to time, and it's been a couple of years since I've had one going through the sports programs, but
All of our competition teams seem to.
yeah, let's have at least, better yet,
Can I motion to approve 1, 2, 4, and 5 of this item?
yeah. Or let's approve all of it.
I have a question on that first.
Well, let's kind of wrap this part of it up, and then I'll go to you, Mr. Hahn. It's more of a policy kind of issue. So, we're getting kind of late, so whatever it is, it's got to be. If we delay it, it's going to kind of blow it up. Maybe if we're going to talk about policy, we should talk about policy for next year as opposed to changing everything this year.
Well, this is about summer, which affects next year. And
Yeah,
next
but
year's team
what I'm
selection.
saying is we're the end of April. When's our next meeting is May. June rolls around pretty quick after that. I'm a little hesitant to change it now for this summer. I have no problem looking at it for next summer. I just think that it creates, I mean, it probably, fields have been reserved, things have been done in anticipation of this, that we probably will create probably more hardships than we're trying to solve by discussing it. But if we want to look at it as a policy, then that's certainly within what this board needs to do, and if the majority of us want to look at the policy, that's great. But it's up, that's just my, Mr. Hahn has a light on, so Mr. Hahn.
No, I think that it's a policy that we have to reflect upon. Bit understanding. I don't know why there's a fee structure. I don't know what this fees.
I can't hear you and your mic's not on.
I'm not sure why there's a fee structure to this, because my kids play. So my kids, I pay that check every summer. So my kids play soccer and baseball. So, but I think it's to pay the coaches for that time. They're not paid staff. They're not, for the summer programs, I think teachers get paid, but the coaches don't. It's just kind of paying, so that's why I'm wondering if it's just, so that's why I'm wondering, it might be create a bigger hardship if we make a decision now, rather than giving a year notice ahead. And so I agree with Dawn that maybe we should look in 2020 summer, not 2019.
Yeah, I don't think yeah, I mean, if this was February or January, even though we wouldn't have known, I think we can kind of deal with it. So with the concurrence of we'll make a motion on the item, but I think maybe what we need to have back to the board is at least, since now we have some time, if the majority, it sounds like the majority will approve it at least for this summer, is then have a discussion paper from staff, why we do it, who does it, kind of get us up to speed on what's going on, and then we can agendize that afterwards. Is that an okay way to handle this?
We certainly can.
And that way we'll have the information, and then we can make a decision of whether we want to agendize it, and then if we agendize it, then of course we can deal with it as a board.
Then can we add number 3 as well then?
Yes.
I'm not making motions, so you would rather that we would deal with it now?
I'd like to hear student and input on how it is. We seem to get a lot of frustration on the making or not making of teams, and
Yes, we do.
I want to give the community an opportunity to speak, and before I asked for it to be an agenda item, because it is an action item for us today, I wanted to see if people cared about it and wanted to make it an action item to have a later agenda item to discuss, because it is on our agenda now. But I don't know.
Okay, Mrs. Reagan.
I agree that it would be worthwhile to hear student voices as well as, I think we need to gather a lot of information with regards to this before we hop on anything. And I do believe it's too late to alter the plan for now. It's only a couple months away that it's supposed to be happening.
Didn't know
So
it was
that's
coming until I
Yeah, that's a
was looking at
pretty
it.
quick turnaround. It takes us, the wheels a long time to turn. So with that said, I move for approval of the entire item.
Do we have a second? For lacking of a second, do we have a substitute motion?
I'm not understanding what your motion is.
I'm moving to approve the item,
The item.
the entire summer school program, item as it is written here.
I second the motion to approve 15.3.
Okay, and then with the caveat that staff gets back to us within, let's say, 30 days, a report on what's happening, who's paying who, what coaches are involved, what all that looks like. 'Cause I remember looking at it years ago, and then once we all can review that, then we can decide whether we want to agendize something in relationship to that. Is that okay with everybody?
But on point 2 and 3, correct? It seems like we're focusing on point 2 and 3? On the music one as well?
Then let's clarify that.
I haven't heard
mean 3 and
many
4?
complaints about music programs.
But there should be no distinction because you're talking about fee-based. The issue is it fee-based or is it acceptance? What is the issue at hand? Is it you're talking about the problem with the fee-based, or do you have a problem with how we select teams and we don't clarify who makes JV, who makes frosh, and who makes varsity. I don't know
I'm
what
not
you're.
saying I have any issues. I'm saying that issues have been raised, and I'd like to hear a conversation about it to see.
So
It
the
might be
issue-
perfect the way it is.
But the issue that's being raised, is it financial issue or issue of making the team, not making the team? I don't know what the issue is.
It could be a publicity issue.
It could be.
You're saying both,
I think
okay.
to some extent,
Participation, just plain
It
participation.
could just be
I
the
don't
way
think we
some people
cut people on
publicize
the
it, and we
band.
don't have a policy on how we publicize it. I mean, I don't know. That's why I want to
Then I think there
learn
should
more
be,
about this.
if that is the argument, then it should be for 3 and 4 too then, for music as well.
yeah, let's look at it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just going to be a discussion,
Yeah,
so let's
the
look at
entire
both.
piece.
It has to
Let's
be
look at
entire
all of
piece.
it.
Yeah.
And then when we get a chance to look at it, then we can decide as a board how we want to agendize it, if we want to agendize it.
Okay.
That gives everybody chances to kind of deal with it going into the year, and then, yeah, we can deal with it in the fall when we come back and kind of, have a little time, a little space to look at it. Is that okay with everybody?
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay,
It's been
good.
moved and seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good. We are on to 18.14. Mr. Gerson.
Yep. All right, just pulling it up. 18.14.
18.14, the Raptor Technologies.
So this was kind of hinted to us. It was coming. We didn't really get a presentation on it, but it was hinted to us that this was coming. And I went, I'm sorry?
The presentation was actually last year about it.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
I was curious, Mr. Mara, because we have 30 schools, what kind of break did they give us? Because on the website, it looked like we got just the standard district rate on equipment and service.
It's the standard, because they're primarily K-12, so it's the K-12 educational cost. So I didn't, if you're asking if I pressed for discounts, no, I went with, quantity. So at our quantity of 30 sites, that's the cost for it.
Because this is when I was going through the price list, I am have to admit, I was sitting next to my wife when I was doing it, and she was laughing kind of at me because I felt fleeced. I know that, even when we traveled to Sacramento, choosing a hotel that was a little farther away to save a little bit of money, sharing an Uber, choosing an airline where the price was significantly less, even though Mrs. Liu had frequent flyer numbers on 2 other airlines, she still took the time to join me on the flight that I went on because it was so significantly cheaper.
Not the same flight, but the same airline.
Right, same airline.
We had separate hotel rooms.
Yes, we did, Mr. Lee. And I was just, because so it's $495 per scanner, $350 per one-time fee for provisioning and activating the database storage. So that's the activation fee. And then there's a separate $275 installation fee, which will include some training, and printer, $139 each, all at $30 quantity because there's 30 schools. The visitor badges, and then when we get to the shipping and handling, again, it's $26 per site. We're not gaining any benefit by having, being at the district. And then the annual software access fee of $540 for each site per year, and there's 90 because it's 3 years. So that's a total of $90,000. And I don't think anybody's questioning the value of the product. The safety that it supplies for our children. I'm looking at that this company, you guys saw it, so it must be a good product and that they're charging a premium. I'm just wondering, as a district as large as ours, if we did negotiate would you be able to do you feel after communicating with them that maybe if you had our backing that you could negotiate a better price?
Honestly, I don't know. I could try. They held this price because we received this quote almost 2 years ago when Dawn was asking, and I asked if we could requote again. Can we keep the same price? And they said sure, and I promised them that we'll continue to work on it. We'll continue to work on it. We're not there yet, and we're almost there. We're about ready, and so here we are finally at this point, and the pricing is held over the last 2.5 years.
On their website, they say that the yearly annual software fee is still $540, so
yeah.
They're giving that to all districts.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't sure about the others, because like I said, there's the database activation fee, and then there's the separate installation fee.
These cloud services, right. And from a database standpoint, database activation, I know, and you probably know that that's a few clicks here and there because it's shared storage. From the technical standpoint, I don't think it's that difficult, but I can't question, the amount of DBAs they hire, the amount of people that they hired in order to, keep this nationwide product, up and running all the time. They're the largest provider for this type of system in the country, so it's probably a lot of manpower there. On my end, it probably looks like, it's just a few clicks. Why are you? I question that all the time. Why does this cost so much? There's back-end storage and back-end services, so I don't know, how they pay their folks and how that all comes together, and their business strategy and their marketing. In here, I'm sure there's a profit. How much? I couldn't tell you what the overhead is. Maybe there's enough of infrastructure already built into the system because they've been around a lot of years, and their overhead is probably pretty low because they're going to use, Amazon Web Services, and they've got a good deal with them, or they've migrated over to Microsoft Azure, and their servers are hosted over there now. So, but I couldn't tell you, how much they're making off of us. I just know that this seems to be their standard cost for what they charge most districts. But yeah, I could push, and
I don't know. Do you want to pull the item and bring it back at our next meeting and see what can happen in the meantime?
I was going to give him even more, that, even a motion that we like the product and that we give him the authority to negotiate, because I feel like that with a 30-school district and 23,500 students, we have a little more bargaining power than some of our neighbors do.
Make the motion, yeah.
I don't know. When I read it, I kind of felt like the CEO's going home telling his wife, hey, we're going to get the boys that wave runner they wanted. It just seemed like that much more to me.
It depends on.
I might be wrong, but it seemed at $90,000, it seemed, for what we were getting, it seemed like a really large number.
Actually, in your opinion, Mr. Maher, do you think that it might go somewhere? Do you think that our 34 schools leverage can do anything? I mean, I don't know how many clients they have, or I know they're big.
They have a lot.
But how big?
So, and I guess at what point is it acceptable if you give me some guidance, if I get 5% off, 10% off?
Well, since it's public, I don't want to let them know what would make me happy.
Yeah. But
let's do this.
Right.
Why don't we make
and then
a
when do we
motion?
want to roll it out? Because if we push it out, then we're not doing anything for this fall.
Because you're not going to roll it out to this summer anyway, right?
Well, we're going to be
We have to buy it.
So the call starts tomorrow with our rep. Once he knows that this is
I think
installed,
we can
and then
delay it to the next meeting. It's a good negotiating ploy. We'll just delay the item, and Mr. Mara can see what can happen in the meantime. I don't want to give him a whole lot of direction from up here, since
I understand.
this is a public meeting that can be clicked on in YouTube. But yeah, go back and say that the board wants a little more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move that we table this item till the next board meeting.
Do we have a second? I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Actually, it's aye. Aye.
Aye. So that means that we're going to go forward with the contract. Well, no, actually, our
No.
motion
That
is
means we're tabling
denied.
it.
Negotiation.
We're tabling it. Okay, so we're tabling it. 3-2.
Vote on the items.
So, yeah, so we tabled the item, so we're done. Right?
Betty's vote was to table the item.
Yes.
Yes.
Then it's tabled
Yeah, good. Okay, good. Okay, so we got to that. Thank you, Mr. Gerson.
for the May 6th board meeting.
Correct. Board calendar is attached. Williams reporting requirements have been made. Report from the board representative of Southern California Regional Occupational Center, Mrs. Reagans.
Yes, thank you. We did have a meeting, and I was able to attend part of it, although it was the same evening as our district-wide science fair, so I then proceeded to the science fair, so I did not stay for the entire SoCal Rock meeting. But I did want to share that they talked about their certified medical assisting program and teaching that wonderful skill set to adults as well as high school kids, and that there's a national test that those folks can take at any point in time after having taken the test, or taken the class. The high schoolers actually are somewhat limited in what they are able to do because they're not of age to be able to do actual medical procedures, but they
Thank
will
God.
learn how to do front office and general examination things.
Okay.
So, but then the adults do progress, and they do 880 hours of actual work, and then do externships, and then if they pass the test, the national registry, then they're ready to go and proceed. There was a student from Palos Verdes High School who's taking the certified medical, or the clinical medical assisting, I should say, not the certified. And she said that she was taking it because she wanted to have something to actually make some money while she was in college and working her way through to medical school. So I thought that was really a neat connection that she had put together for herself and managed to fit into her schedule. So I had to give her kudos for that. They did talk about the budget for the coming year and the proposed budget, and their revenue stream is including district payments for the students that we do send there, is about $4.5 million. And that's what they anticipate for the next few years, although they've had a little bit of a reduction in the number of students. But they do expect that they will continue because they do have some CTIG support, as do we. So that will help them to be able to move forward. And that's that for that. I do have a couple of other things. Should I go ahead and do those now? Okay. I, too, wanted to address the fact that this is the month of May is coming up for the TUSD Mental Health Awareness Month. Both my husband and I worked in the field of mental health and worked as therapists and in clinical settings. So it's an extremely important aspect for our students, more and more so as the stresses and strains of being a student weigh upon them. So please, folks, pay attention to mental health and get educated about those aspects, and let's see if we can't work on some of the stigma things that are happening with regards to mental health things. We do have a lot of Asian American and Pacific Islander folks that are amongst our students as well as our staff and community. So if you know any of those folks, May 2019 is our the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So tell those folks you value their presence in our community and thank them for being with us. I did want to identify May 8th will be School Nurses Day. We don't have as many nurses as I would like to see us have, but we do have school nurses, and they do try to help to maintain the health of our students and make sure that all of the necessary aspects of immunizations, et cetera, are taken care of. So thank you, nursing staff, and if you know a nurse, tell her she's doing a great job today and every day, but especially May 8th. And last but not least, I do want to mention that May 8th is the California Day of the Teacher. Our teachers are wonderful people that work with our students each and every day, and they're the ones who make the magic happen, of the magic of learning, as Dr. Mannon likes to say. And the last thing I want to do is identify some classified employees' anniversaries. We have 10 years of accredited service from Amy Blomgren and Alejandra Yaramillo, and 15 years of accredited service from Francine Carmona, Tam Din, Roger Johnson, and Sue Kirby. 20 years of accredited service from Antonio Alvarez and Paula Bachand and Jason Kasia and Doris Guzman. Thank you, folks, for working with our students and making our school district such a success. So that's it, sir. Thank you.
Good. Any other oral communications? Mr. Gerson.
I wanted to respond to someone who spoke at the last meeting. She brought up that as a teacher, she was frustrated at our shelter-in-place policy and the confusion that came with how do we react. If the refinery goes, you know, I'm told to shelter in place. If there's a stranger on campus and I'm in that kind of situation, I'm told to shelter in place. And so I sent an email to Dr. Mannon, and he had staff respond. The district has a nice flow chart, as well as Dr. Crumpy told me that there has been more training this year. And just to respond to that parent, teacher, resident, so it says that with air quality alerts or chemical releases, that shelter in place is what is called. And if there is a disturbance, such as a dangerous person in the area, that lockdown is the procedure that we execute. And then in active shooter scenarios, we have a different situation, which I know I've been a part of that training as well, which is a little bit different and I won't cover on camera. And I also wanted to give the board and the community feedback. I've now attended 2 City of Torrance Strategic Plan Committee meetings, and they have given us a lot of material. Here is one of the books that I've been supplied with. I asked for permission to share some info with you, and I was given that permission by this city person running it. So the city ran a lot of focus groups, and I wanted to share with you those that apply to us. I'm sure that nobody is surprised at how many times schools and the school district came up in the City of Torrance's focus groups. And I just wanted to share with you that the community has an extremely positive view. So they had, I think, almost 24 focus groups. And so the very first one on the list, and this is what do you like most about Torrance? 16 group numbers, or 16 groups. And then the people within the groups were asked to put dots. And so the largest number of dots is 65 on my list. And what do you like most about Torrance? Schools. And then 6 groups with 20 dots put school district. So they separated schools and school district, but that's us. Another group, public school education system, K-12 and El Camino, were all put together, an additional 5 dots. Adult education programs, TUSD in parentheses, another 3 dots. Good education, another 3 dots. High-performing schools, another 3 dots. Another group said high school activities, another 3 dots. New Torrance Aquatic Center, another group said, with 3 dots. School system dash good rating, another 3 dots. Diversity of North High School was what one group said. Another group said North High School. The total of those is 4 dots. So I just wanted to let you know that the City of Torrance, the residents have come back and are showing appreciation for what everyone, our cabinet, and what our teachers and staff are doing. So I hope you don't mind me sharing that with you.
Well, that's good to brag. Or how did, what was it? Satchel Paige says it ain't bragging if you can do it. So there we go. Any other oral remarks from the board? Okay. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, guys,